Welcome back to the ETF Inspector. It's Thursday, October 9th, just a little after 4 o'clock, and this is our daily recap video for our four weekly paying Roundhill funds. The first three are 0DTE covered call strategy funds on the indexes, QDTE for the NASDAQ 100, XDTE for the S&P 500, and RDTE for the Russell 2000. I never really say it, but this is their website there, roundhillinvestments.com, and then you can go to our ETFs. You can go to the ones that have themes, ones that are, they call these their income ETFs. That's where these four that I cover come out of. Excuse me. They've got weekly pays, which are all of their single tickers, and then they also have WPay, which is the combination of all of those single tickers. Then they've got core ones. Week is just a T-bill one, XDIV, and then leveraged ETFs. So point of this video is not to really go over all that stuff. It was just, I just kind of clicked through these always without talking about it, but there's lots of information on every single one of these pages. It's where I pull a lot of information from. If you ever want like the holdings, it would be scroll down to the holdings and then just click download the CSV. Reminder, I'm on X at ETF_inspector1. I post things, I repost things from these different companies when they put out their announcements. This is Granite shares from today. And I also post these 0-day trades made under these Roundhill funds every morning as soon as they become available, so long as I don't get tied up in work and forget about it. And I also post when videos are premiering, just in case you like to be in the live chat on the premiere. So let's take a look at how the market performed today. And it was down. All right, so these specific funds, right, the NDX, NASDAQ 100 was down 0.15%. The Roundhill fund following that, QDTE, slightly outperformed, only going down 0.1%. SPX, S&P 500, was down 0.27%. Oddly enough, XDTE actually went down further, 0.31%. That doesn't usually makes sense. RUT, the Russell 2000, was down 0.56%. RDTE matched it, going down an equal amount. And then YBTC, which I actually just realized, I don't think I mentioned that in our introduction. YBTC is a Bitcoin covered call strategy that uses IBIT and creates a synthetic position in them and then sells weekly covered calls off of them. So we look at IBIT, it was down 1.88%. YBTC down 1.72%, so slightly doing slightly better than its underlying. We'll start off looking at the trades on these 0DTE funds. The first is QDTE. They sold 382 calls on the NDX with a strike of $25,130. They collected $21.88 per share premium, or $835,000. NDX closed at $25,098, so that's well below that $25,130. It doesn't cost anything to cash settle it, and they get to keep the full $835,000. Now, unfortunately, after yesterday's debacle, they're still in the hole, 2.9 million, so there's no digging out of that one. When we take a look at the holdings, they've got $951 million in assets under management, 26,730,000 outstanding shares. NAV at the start of the day, 35.60. They dropped slightly, 35.57. Yesterday was declaration day, where they declared 20.4112 cents per share. Today was X day, so long as you had the shares today and purchased them prior to today, you'll be receiving that 20.4 cents tomorrow, unless your broker makes you wait until Monday. That's a roughly just about 30% annual yield. There was no changes in these holdings. This purple, these are our synthetics. We don't actually have shares of NDX. We have deep in the money calls on NDX with differing dates, anywhere from this December to next December, which we then use to sell calls off of. Also, underneath of each section of the synthetics, you'll also see the government obligation funds, T-bills, and cash and other is where the remainder of the money sits. Next, we're going to look at XDTE. They sold 608 calls on the SPX today with a strike of 6,765, collecting $3.68 per share premium, or 223,000. SPX closed at 67.31, well below the 67.65. It doesn't cost anything to settle it out, and they get to keep all of the premium collected today. Again, after yesterday's loss, they are still deep in the hole. They've got a possibility of maybe breaking even if they have a good trading day tomorrow, but right now they're going into tomorrow negative 332,000 on the week. When we switch over to the holdings, there's $409 million in assets under management, 9,535,000 outstanding shares, and the NAV based on that says 42.98. Now that math's not mathing because with the share price dropping today, it shouldn't be ending higher than what the NAV was at the close yesterday. So if you've seen this channel before, they are usually very slow to update the outstanding shares, and that's going to be the case. So most likely in the coming days, we're going to see a decrease in the outstanding shares, which would then increase the NAV, which would line things more up more with the way they should be. We did see one change in the holdings. They sold 18 of their deep in the money calls expiring this coming December 19th. So that number dropped down to 374. It was 392. Yesterday they declared 21.1523 cents per share. Today was X day, and tomorrow you will receive that 21 plus cents per share. Next declaration date is the following Wednesday, October 15th. Last of the three on the 0-day trade funds is RDTE. They sold 681 calls on the Russell 2000 with a strike of 2,490. They collected $2.48 per share, or $168,000. Russell 2000 closed at 24.68, well below the 24.90. It doesn't cost anything to settle them out, and they get to keep the full premium collected this morning. So far for the week, they are negative $483,000 after yesterday's big loss. We take a look at their holdings. No changes as far as their synthetics. They didn't buy or sell any more of these deep in the money calls. They have almost $166 million in assets under management, 4,950,000 outstanding shares, and the NAV at the start of the day was $33.52. They did drop, and so these seem to line up decently after about a 0.5% drop down to around 33, 38. With me making the video so close to closing time, sometimes Excel's pull on these is not finished, so it'll still fluctuate a couple pennies. Yesterday they declared 22.4722 cents per share, or roughly 35% annual yield. Today was X date, and tomorrow will be the pay date where we all receive that. I think I said it already, but no change in the holdings. And then the last of the four is YBTC. They don't share with us they don't have daily trades. They just trade once a week. On Friday, they will close out their weekly and roll to the following Friday. And so what they have is a $71.95 call on IBIT that is sold. It expires tomorrow. It's currently 4.67% out of the money, with IBIT closing around 68.74 today. So those are going to drop a lot in cost to close out, with tomorrow being the last day. They're going to end up being a win overall on the trade, unless IBIT runs up to like $72+ per share. The synthetic, which is different over in the other ones, they just buy deep in the money calls. In YBTC, they create a synthetic combo where they buy calls and sell puts at the exact same strike. In this case, it's $66.70. These expire next Friday, so the longest we're going to have them is till next week, that we could see them get closed out sooner. But they have value because with a strike of 66.70 and the underlying getting up to 68.74, they're worth more than where they started. So as of the start of the day, they were worth 16.7 million, but because IBIT dropped, those will decrease in the value of the calls, and they will increase in the cost to close out the puts. These are on a slightly different schedule. So they actually announced on Tuesday, went X yesterday, and today was our payday for YBTC. If you are an owner, you got 37.7594 cents per share. So really, I should go ahead and populate that up to that one. So I'll move that before the next video. And I just did a short update. It's tough to keep up with the WPay, but I did update the shares and the most recent payments on all the individual income funds within WPay. So I got how many shares they have, I got what each one's distribution was, totals up all the money, divides it out amongst the shares. And so they took in about 74 cents per share. So if that helps you in determining anything, then the payment that comes based off of this week, which would, I don't think it would be next week, it'd be the week after. I'm not sure, the way they're all over the place with all their different days of payment, but the next payment or the payment after that's most likely going to be in the 74 cent range. So that's just about everything I've got for you. So thank you for watching. Good luck trading tomorrow, and I'll see you in the next video.